Hello everyone, hello, good evening and welcome back to the GSMC. I hope you're all doing great this evening. Sorry for the little bit of a delayed start. We've had some background issues with some of our drivers, but we are here, we are back, we are in our practice session. We have 6 minutes remaining. We are, let me give you some of our stuff here. So we are at Sebring in the US of A. This is round 3 of 5 of our 30-minute race sprint series. This is a 6 kilometer or 3.74 mile track. So we're back in the USA this time at sunny Sebring. This was meant to be a wet race, but actually the gods have shined upon us and it is sunny. We currently have 12 competitors, possibly 13 now, with one of the boys, Ricky Tan, joining, so hopefully they've got their issues sorted out. This should be a good one. Let's look at our current schedule. So we are round 3 out of 5. We are at Sebring. Next week we are back to Laguna Seca, and then we have round 5 at Donington Park for our Enduro event. I'm excited. We have a brand new team livery. We are currently riding the bottom. It is Farmer Joe Racing. Look at this in the John Deere liveried car. This is Ollie and Jordan's race team, and we are on board with Jordan at the moment. What an amazing livery we have here. So the guys have been getting to grips with the circuit. It is bumpy, it is fast, it is wide, it is flowing. They are having a wonderful time. I know some of our drivers have been putting some serious time in this weekend, and for me, the odds-on favourite is going to be Wino Aski again. He had a superb win last time out. So actually, let us look at that. Let's look at our season standings for you guys. So we do have JR in the FLD Racing Team currently at the top of the table with a win and a 9-pointer. But we all have Aski second place, who won last time round, in second place. We have Full One-Ton Racing's Twin Flow and Spook 3 and 4. Then we have Xanax, who unfortunately missed last race, but he's here with us this evening in 5th. Rikatan 6th, Oblong 7th. Sadly, Oblong isn't going to be racing with us any further, but his position in the championship still remains with his 9 and 2 points to 11, so he probably will drop down a list, but Oblong is there. We have Frozen Joy, Jack and Korski in 8th, 9th and 10th. I expect some good things for Frozen Joy this weekend. Then we have Schmidt in 11th with Lynchy in 12th, just behind him on 3 points. Mason with 2 points, and then Ollie, Wild Boys and Jordan finish off the 14th, 15th and 16th place. So we see the Farmer Joe Racing Team there at the end. So that is our current season standings. I'm excited for this one. This has the potential to be a really, really close, a really, really tight race. I am looking forward to it. Let's have a look. So actually, we see Frozen Joy going top of the table here with a 25.8. But I have seen a 2-minute 2, a late 2-minute 2 on this track, and we see actually Speak now going with a 2-minute 4 as we just jump aboard as he runs extremely wide off turn 1, bumps her all the way across the gravel trap and across the grass here. Yellow in sector 1 for him as he stops on track and returns back to the pits. We have 2 minutes remaining, so we're still waiting to see if we can get Lynchy into the server. Let's have a ride on with Jack. Jack has put in very little time this weekend, so it's going to be interesting to see where he can climb to and what he can do with his car, as we see him actually setting fire to his car. That is Jack on fire at the back straight there. He must have just changed down gears one too many times. Luckily he did that in practice and not in the race. That's all I can say. As we see someone else just spinning into the wall and a back as we ride on board with the Farmer Joe. I gotta admit, I love this livery. I think it looks superb. You can spot this livery out an absolute mile away. It looks fantastic. As we see, let's have a look at Wino Aski. This is the guy I am expecting some really good things this race. He's put in a lot of time and effort into building. In fact, I would say 90% of the server is running this man's setup. That's how good it's been and how precise he's been with his setup this weekend. So let's have a look here. Oh, we have our Xanax as well back with us this weekend, as we see him in his Lars and Biscuits car. Let's bring up our driver. Oh, look at that! It runs extremely wide there. So it seems like everyone is just pushing themselves to the limit in the practice session, which is good. So yeah, it's really good to see Alex back with us this week. He unfortunately missed last weekend's race with some commitments. A minute to go in the practice session. Let's have a look here. Okay.
1 minute left in practice. 1 minute left in practice.
Let us see. Race director, if you can hear me, I've just had a message from one of our competitors saying that Korski, his brake is dragging and he's not reaching full throttle. He needs to have a look at it. So if you could send a message out to him via race channel, that would be great. So that's Korski, his brake is dragging. Yeah, no worries. He's muted, but yeah, have a go at that. Anyway, so that is a bit of inside for you guys. No, you might not be able to hear him, that's fine. So let's have a look. The practice session is actually over now, so there should only be a couple of drivers on circuit. Yeah, obviously Frozen Droid now, just finishing up his circuit. And then we're going to go into our 15-minute qualifying session. As we just ride in alongside Frozen Droid into the last corner. Does he come into the pits? I think he may well do. And are we still waiting on Lynchy to join? We are still waiting for Lynchy to join, so he's still having some workshop issues, unfortunately. And we get a nice shot of the checker flag being waved there. Practice is over. I'm looking forward to qualifying. Qualifying is going to be tight. They're going to be on low fuel. They're going to be absolutely on it for this one. Hopefully Korski got our message and he is having a look at his throttle inputs right now, because that is going to severely hamper him in the race. That looks like that is the end of practice. We are going in to qualifying, I think, in just a second. Oh, the game seems to have paused. Oh, we can still move around. There we go. Everyone's loading. Okay, we'll be back after this. Okay, here we are into qualifying. We see Jordan in the Farmer Joe Racing as the first car out on track. And he goes through the red light. Oh, Jordan, that's going to give you a penalty. Oh, he's jumped the red light at the end of the pit lane. That's going to give him a penalty now. He's going to have to serve that penalty within this session, or he's going to be severely hampered here. So hopefully he might get a message from race control just letting him know he needs to serve that penalty in this session, otherwise it will carry over and he'll have some issues into the race. So let us have a look on board this gentleman, Mr. Wanoaski, who is now number one out.
Jordan, you get a penalty, please serve it this session. Jordan, penalty, please serve this session.
There we go, race director letting him know that he's got to serve his penalty this session. So we are on board with Wanoaski for his first flying lap. We have the two FLD racing teams, ASCII and JR, nose to tail into the first lap. It's quite a long lap here, just over 2 minutes. We are still waiting to see if Lynchy has got any joy. It probably doesn't, but he does have 15 minutes to try and get it fixed and sorted. And hopefully he doesn't get too tilted and he can get into the race and enjoy it with us here. I hope you are all doing well this evening as well in chat. Have yet to see my friend Mr. Terabyte to cheer on Jack, his number one driver. I'm sure he will pop along shortly. In fact, let's have a look at Mr. Jack in the drive-by racing livery car. That is a good looking livery as he breaks into the hairpin, into the first sector, and it's just an acceleration zone through this left, right, left chicane. Just such a sweeping, fast sector. See, yeah. The sector here is very fast and sweeping, so it is enjoyable to watch. But I want to go back alongside this man. He's just doing some weaving, it looks like, to get his tyres up to temperature as he now goes into his first flying lap. Let us enjoy this with Mr. Winowaski as he heads down the start-finish straight now to start his flying lap. Crosses the line now. So into turn 1. Evening Boost, sitting here watching the fun. Evening Mr. Terabyte, I hope you're doing well. Yes, it's going to be great fun as we see Aski now pitching the car hard in. Let's bring up the qualifying display here so we can see if he's going faster or slower. Now into this tight left-hand, it's kind of late corner entry, gets on the power nice early. The car rotates really well. A little short squirt into the next left-hander, get the car pointed in, and away he goes down to the big bend, I think they call it on this track, the big bend or the long curve. And we see him now power on down into the first real big heavy braking zone. Hard on the brakes at the 150 feet mark, turns the car in. Looks like it got a little bit wide, but it's not too bad. It's just mainly traction on the exit there. So he's done a 47.061 for his first sector time. That is looking good. Brings the car really close to the left early there, actually. So I found this is to be a late apex again, but I think he's up in third gear here. He's doing a really nice job. He's not kind of following the rubbered in line, but I think he's found his own groove in this circuit. It looks like he might have backed off here. Possibly backed off, I'm not entirely... No, he's still going. I think he just lost a little bit of time in that middle sector. Let's see what that sector looks like here. A 36.404 for his middle sector. And he breaks into the sharp right-hander that brings us on, nearly on to the back straight here. And we get a nice long shot as they power down this back straight. And they've got to get a bit of toe here going on as they power down. As we see JR just behind him with his lights on, they're going to get a little bit of toe. So, Terabyte, this circuit is Sebring. This is in Florida in the USA. It's actually based on a ex-army base, an ex-US army base. So what you're looking at now is actually one of the old taxiways. As we see Winowaski actually abandoning his lap here, deciding not to continue. So this is built on an old airport in Florida. So that's why you get, it looks very like textured and bumpy and stuff, because yeah, that's what it is. So we actually see Ricky Tan currently in P1 with a 204.804, which is a lightning fast lap. And Spook just behind him, 0.06 of a second behind him actually. But we see Aski deciding not to continue with his lap here. Let us have a look on board with Spook to see what his target lap times are. So he needs to beat a 204.8, and he's very close to that actually. I know his brother Twin Flow is also extremely fast. We see Spook sideways there. Actually, yeah, he's lost a lot of time there, so he's not going to gain on this lap. What about Twin Flow? Twin Flow is on his out lap, so he's just about to start his lap. That was good jumping on board with him. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of frame rate issues with this circuit. So if you see some judders, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about it. It's just, unfortunately, the way this circuit is built in R Factor 2 is the issue. So we are just watching Twin Flow here. We're going to see what his first sector time does. He looks a little bit sideways there, but he gets a nice exit, just brushes up on the curve as he goes into the big bend. You can't afford to lose any time there, because you'd just be hemorrhaging the lap time all the way down this straight. As we see him now braking hard at 150 markable, gets the car rotated in nicely, gets a little bit on the tail happy on the exit, but let's see what his time is. So he's up 0.7 here with a 45.4 for his first sector. So this is looking promising for pole position as it stands, if he can continue this run up. I know he's been extremely fast around here. look here. I can't see what Ricky Tan's best lap time was, but it was a 2:04.8. Let's see what his middle sector looks like as he continues on in the full one-ton racing livery. So he's up another 3 tenths with a 32 there. 32 seconds in the middle sector. And as he powers down the straight, the back straight, shall I say, so he goes into this, you literally, this right-hander at the end of the straight, you pull the car in at full speed, tilt the car in, let the car rotate, and you start braking and accelerating in the corner. It really upsets the car, but you just got to hang on to the car. He gets a little bit sideways here. It's going to cost him maybe a tenth or two, but I don't think it's going to dampen him. I think he's got enough in the bag here to take pole position as he crosses the line with a 2:03.198. He does indeed nick pole position from Ricky Town by a full 1.6 seconds. He is absolutely on it here. What a fantastic lap. I'm glad we got to watch that from the trackside camera. So that is a benchmark to follow there. We still have not seen Askey set a fast lap time. Is he out on track? He is out on track, but he isn't going through sector lap times yet. So we need to keep it up. We still have, actually, Askey, Jack, Jordan and Wild Boys who still haven't set a lap time. And Jordan is in the pits. We need to let Jordan know that he can qualify, Flea. Jordan can qualify, he just needs to serve his penalty in this session.
Jordan, you can qualify, just need you to serve your penalty this session. You are allowed to get out there on track.
Yeah, hopefully he knows that. But anyway, so yeah, we see Jordan still in the pit side. Let's have a look. I see Jack now going on his first flying lap. He is 1.3 seconds down from the target time of a 2:03.1. So let's see where that should slot him in. 1.3 seconds. It's probably that slots him into P2 as it stands if he can maintain this sort of level of pace. But it just depends how much slower he goes through the rest of the circuit here. Oh, I just heard someone join and leave. Let's have a look. He's another 1.5 down, so that's like 3 seconds down. So that's now put him into around 5th place here. Let us have a look. Gets the car turned into the right hand down straight. Yeah, he could use a little bit more of the exit curb there just to continue down the fast back straight here. But it's not necessarily in these cars where you qualify. It's actually where you race, because the cars are really good at following each other. The racing's really tight, so yeah, he could do a really good job here. Let us check as he crosses the line now. So 2:03's gone, 2:05, 2:06, 2:07.4. That puts Jack into P8 behind Xanax in P7. So we still have Jordan in the pit lane. And we see Jack now returning. So actually, Askey, let's have a look at him. So he's set his first flying lap that puts him in P4 with a 2:05.268. He's done much faster than that. So I wonder what his current strategy is. Whether he's just letting the track bed in. Needs some extra time here. It's interesting there actually. So we've got 4 minutes left of qualifying. Let us run down our current grid position, shall we? So we have in P1 Twin Flow with a 2 minutes 3.198. Now we have Spook in P2, just behind, 2 tenths behind. Frozen Droid in P3. Ricky Tan in P4, who was a late entry, so he missed his practice session. We see a Lynchy arrive into the server, into the pit lane with 4 minutes remaining. How exciting is that? So we have Lynchy now into the server. Finally, that is a really good sign. So we do have 14 drivers for this race. Hopefully he can calm down enough and not be too upset and tilted, and he can get out on track, at least set a couple of laps in qualifying just to get his head back into the circuit. But as we run down, so we've got Ricky Tan in 4th, Askey in 5th place, JR in 6th, Zanak 7th, Jack in 8th place, Korski 9th, Schmidt in 10th, Ollie in 11th, Jordan still in the pit lane in 12th place. Wild Boys is in 13th and Lynchy is in 14th, and I'm hearing in my earpiece that Jordan is deciding to give himself a penalty and starting from the back of the pack, which isn't quite how it works, but we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him after the session, because all he needs to do is serve his drive-through penalty during this practice session, and it will clear it for him. But oh well. Okay, cool. So on board with Ricky Tan, not a very fast lap, unfortunately. Good couple of seconds down everywhere. Yellows all around, so he's not improved on his best time. We see Why Not Aski has improved up into 5th place now with a 205.268, but he was setting, I was seeing that gentleman setting 203s like all the time in practice, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened to his pace, but it has dropped away a little bit. Hopefully he can pull something out of the bag. Let us actually ride on board with this gentleman, Lynchy. The gentleman that's come back. Actually, let's see if we can get some team radio going. Absolutely zero team radio. They are concentrating like a madman in qualifying, and I don't blame them whatsoever, because qualifying is where you need the most peace and quiet. So Lynchy is on an outlap, so he's going to start his first fun lap. It's really good. I'm really happy to see him in the server, actually. I am really pleased to see he has made it, sorted out his issues, and got the game working, so we can have a nice grid of 14 racers here tonight. Let's actually listen to driver racing, guys, we could say. No one is wanting to talk to us today on the... Everyone is extremely quiet in the old racing tube. Let us maybe listen in to... No, we won't actually. We're just going to continue to watch on board with Lynchy here into the first sector. Gets a little bit late on the brakes, runs a little bit wide, missed the apex, but does really well.
1 minute left. 1 minute left in qualifying. 1 minute.
And we're hearing the 1 minute warning left from our race director here. Jack 8th, but he's had a stressful week. He has had a stressful week, Terabyte. I've heard all about it, my friend. Hopefully this race will de-stress him and he can pull some good points out of the bag. He is still out on track though, so he can still improve. But we are seeing no improvement at the top yet, so I just want to see what Lynchy can do, because Lynchy's put some nice practice in this week, and he deserves, especially after the start he's just had, he does deserve a little bit more than our last place start. We see Wild Boy still hasn't put in a time yet, so Wild Boy still hasn't put in a competitive time, so even if Lynchy just pops in a really slow first lap, he could get into P11, P12 pretty successfully. And we do see the checkered flag run out. So Lynchy is going to get just the one flying lap. So let's see what it can do, shall we? He's 2.6 down and 1.5 down. So we see him go through the final corner, runs a little bit deep, a little bit wide, but keeps the car within the lines. Does a nice job. And he crosses the line now and goes P11. So he pops the car up into P11 on his first final lap. I think that is worthy of a round of applause for Lynchy there. In late and just gets the car on. Doesn't get any practice time. Just straight into qualifying. Yeah, that is a fine job by Lynchy. I'm proud of him. Terrible said, actually, Mummy Jack has just said it's the 2 pints at lunchtime, a large glass of wine with his lamb roast. that will probably relax him, if anything. It might make him a slightly better driver tonight than to have all the stress on his shoulders, bless him. But wow, yes. So we potentially have our grid solved. We do have a couple of drivers still out on track. We do have Korski now finishing. God, look at that big power slide out of that corner. He's got one corner left, so he's in 9th. So Lynchy solidifies 11. Actually, Wild Boys goes into 12th, so Ollie drops down. So the two Farmer Boys are in last place as it stands, Ollie and Jordan. Let's see if Korski can improve his time from 9th as he goes. Oh, look at it, just keeps it within that white line there. Oh, it's wide. Oh, no, he's abandoning, so he's going into the pit lane here. So that is Korski into the pit lane. So that is all of our competitors back into the pits. So that looks like that is qualifying done. How exciting. How very exciting. So we will wait for the start of the race before we do our official starting order. But that is qualifying. I think the most exciting point is getting Lynchy back in. I'm very excited for that, gentleman. So let us run into the race when it kicks over. Here we go. The cars are loading. We're going to pop into the race right now. We'll see you after this. So here we are on the race grid. Let's set our starting order. Let us run through our starting positions here. So we have Twin Flow in Full Wanton Racing in first, followed by his brother Spook in second place. Frozen Droid in third in the Top Grid Racing car, with Ricky Tan in fourth for the Brum Boys. Wano Aski and JR are next on the grid in fifth and sixth in the FLD Racing team. We have Jack in seventh in the Drive-By Racing team, with Xanax in eighth in the Scuderia Pearson Oils team. Ninth, we have Korski in the sister car. 10th, we have Schmidt for the Top Gun Racing team. 11th, Lynchy in the Brum Boys car. 12th, Wild Boys in the Drive-By Racing sister car. Then at the back of the grid, we have the two brand new racers, the Farmer Joe Racing teams with Ollie and Jordan. Hopefully you've noticed that the graphics are updated, because that was all down to our wonderful friend Frozen Droid. So they are starting their formation lap now. Let us get all of our bits and pieces open. We're on the back of the grid with Jordan here, but let us ride up front with our friend here. We're just going to set our replay timer going. There we go. So we're back on board live, so we have our replay events ready to go, so we can do some nice cool replays. So we're just watching them do their formation lap. Then it will be a 30-minute timed race from lights out and away we go. So we're just watching Twin Flow warming up his tyres, getting everything nice and toasty. Oh, we've lost some stuff here. There we go. Get our banners back, shall we? We need all of our good stuff. So, yeah, interesting. So who's got a bit of a gap back here, a little bit of bumping and grinding, a little bit of going off track here. I think there's a little bit of hustle and bustle going on towards the mid-pack, but look at this. How good does it look to see 14 cars circulating around this circuit? This is a big race. I think this might be one of the biggest races we have so far this season. I am excited to see this. We see actually Twin Flow just getting a little bit sideways there, just warming his brakes and his tyres at the same time. Getting all sorts of crossed up. I am hyped for this. This is going to be exciting. I've got a race director here with me, Mr. Sacred Flea, who's doing a fantastic job for us this weekend. He's going to be watching some action that I don't see, and also giving the drivers some information about safety cars and yellow flags and things like that. So he is the guy in the background running the race. I am just talking about it and showing you guys. So a big round of applause to him as we're watching them come down to the last back straight as before they form up on the grid. Look at them all weaving and bobbing and diving to get their tyres up to temperature. It does take a good couple of laps to get these cars up to temperature into a perfect working window. So you need to be warming the brakes the whole time, weaving the tyres, getting lots of temperature into these things. And we're just watching Mr. Twin Flow going around the final corner here before he stacks up onto the grid and everyone forms up and takes their grid positions. Let's drop to our last place as he goes. So we've got Ollie and Jordan at the back of the grids. Twin Flow should be approaching. Look at this. What a fantastic shot this is as we see Twin Flow now heading to his grid position. And he parks it nicely onto the grid there. Just seeing all the guys finishing. There we go. Just all forming up nicely. Good job. So we have 7 seconds now. Countdown. Green flag going. 3, 2, 1. And it's go, go, go. And it's lights out and away they go. Twinflow gets a nice start off. But Frozen gets a really good start behind him. Ricky Town as well. As you're watching them now power into the first corner, there is a couple that are maybe 3 wide at the back there. As we see Ricky Town just defending the inside. And we see Ricky Town spun. I think we see Ricky Town spun on the inside. We do Ricky Town. There's a big accident in the first corner. There's about 3 or 4 cars all spun off. Looked like one of the Scuderia Peterson's cars was turned around backwards as well. So we see Frozen Good now up into P3 with JR dropped into P4. We see another car spinning at the back there. Is that Jordan? No, that wasn't Jordan. I think that was Ollie. Ollie into the back of the grid with Wild Boys as well. So that is a big coming together at the back of the grid. So that's right at the front. We see Twinflow actually getting an amazing start. He's pulled out a 0.8 second lead already as they are heading into the first sector of the lap. But Ricky Tan gets spun around and that actually allows so look at this. So Schmidt is up into P5 with Korski just behind. We see another incident, I think, further back. Ricky Tan's got falling down the grid. Ricky Tan now into P8 with a car on his inside. Xanax on his inside here. Ricky Tan comes across and defends nicely. That is a good move here. So actually, see, look at this. Lynchy into P7. From 11th to 7th in a couple of corners. What a fantastic start from Lynchy here. As we see actually a fight between Schmidt and Korski. Let's look at this. So Schmidt on the inside. Korski looking to go around the outside. This is going to be a brave move. You see Schmidt adds on the brakes and lets him through. Korski gets the move done. What a fantastic move there from Korski as he gets up around the outside of Schmidt. So Korski is now on his way. Korski up into P5. Fantastic move there from him. So he's now got JR in front of him to chase down. But look at this, the field has spread out fairly nicely. We do have a nice big gap. We see Ricky Tan now down into 11th place. Ricky Tan is having a terrible start. He's spun, probably flat spotted his tyres in that first incident, and he's now down into 11th place. Let's have a look here. We've got Lynchy and Xanax close together as they go through the final course. So Lynchy into 7th place, Xanax in 8th place here. They are looking very close as they head down the start-finish straight. We see an FLD racing team that is ASCII pitting. I think that it looks like Wano ASCII into the pits. Yeah, that is ASCII. ASCII has now pitted, so he must have a flat spot or some damage to his vehicle. That is not going to be conducive to his race. That's going to drop him way, way back. It's about a 30-second pit stop, I think, here. As now we're still riding on board with Lynchy as he goes through the first sector. Twinflow, though, in the lead, gaps out at 1.6 seconds after the first lap. We see Lynchy actually slow coming out of the corner here, so Xanax is right on his gearbox as they head into the slow chicane here. But we see late on the brakes, both late. There's a big lockup. Lynchy's got to hold the outside lines. He makes Xanax work for it. Xanax is on the inside, but Lynchy holds the outside, but that's made Lynchy slow, so that's going to allow Jack now to have a little sniff. But so we see Xanax gets the move done because Lynchy was just a little bit slow down the straight, but he did defend amazingly nicely there. But now Jack puts Jack on his gearbox. Let's continue watching this. There is another fight between Jordan and Wild Boys going on at the back. We'll keep. Oh no, they're in the pit. So we have Jordan, Wild Boys, and ASCII all in the pit lane. That's why they're all close together. So this is our current battle here for P8 and P9 here. We're seeing Lynchy and Jack as they head in. So Jack's going to go up the inside, but Lynchy's going to have some speed around. So look at that. Yeah, Jack's tight, really tight lines. He nearly loses the rear end of the car and has to back out of it. That has cost Jack a little bit of time and given Lynchy a little bit of breathing space, but Lynchy lives on to battle again. So that has just dropped Jack a little bit behind, 3/10 behind. But we see, look at this, he's just gained up. Lynchy made a little mistake on the exit there, and Jack has got the drive on him. Look at this, they are going to be side by side into this fast right-hander. Is Lynchy going to hang it around the outside? No, Jack gets the all clear, cuts back inside. We see a best lap for Twinflow with a 2:04 in the race. And we see Jack going through the tight right-hander, gets the back out of shape. So Jack now up into P8, and he's going to be chasing down Xanax with Lynchy now down to T9. But what an amazing start for Lynchy. I'm really happy for the guy. Look at this. We see Jack now closing in on Xanax. So look at this. It's a 3-car fight now. Xanax, Jack and Lynchy. Lynchy hasn't given up. Lynchy is still chasing down, but we see now Xanax just getting them. Oh, look at that, clobbers the curb, gets all sorts of sideways there from Xanax. So that is going to allow Jack onto the back, but can Jack... Oh, Jack gets wide! Jack gets wide and spins the car in front of Lynchy. Lynchy just avoids him, and Jack just collects the wall there. So Jack gets spun, and he's into the wall, but he continues on his way. He's probably not going to have much damage there, but that is unfortunate for Jack. But Lynchy now survives on, and he can chase down Xanax, but he's got his teammate just behind him, Ricky Tan. What a amazing race. And we see here, actually, so the two teammates, Xanax and Korski, has switched around. I didn't see it. I wonder if Korski had an issue, but Xanax now up into P6 and Korski into P7. Wow, what a crazy... And we actually see the two Brum boys are now nose to tail. Let's see if they are talking about switching positions.
Actually, no, I won't. No, don't yet. Just...
Yep, they are talking about switching positions. We'll run on board with this.
So, yeah, unless you want to get earlier. But I think the tow probably is more beneficial.
Yeah, so they're talking about when they're going to swap position. We're going to keep on board with this. They're talking about giving the tow down the back straight here. And I think Lynchy's going to let Ricky Tan through.
Right, this is where you want your tow. Don't need it. Inside. Yeah. Oh no, I was cheating.
So yeah, there we go. So they have swapped positions here. So the Brum boys have now swapped positions, I think. No, they haven't quite yet. So Ricky Tan back into the tow. I think they're going to swap positions just down to the back straight here. And they do. Ricky Tan to the inside. Wow, I was going to say what a great move, but it wasn't really. That was orchestrated to allow Ricky Tan back through. So we see Lynchy now back down into P9. So hopefully he can follow his teammate and gain some positions together. So while we're just waiting for the race to shake out, who should we have a look at? Let's have a look on board with Ricky Tan into turn 1 in the replay here. So we're just waiting for the start lights to go. We're still waiting for the grid to form up a little bit, I think just behind. So green flag come out. So we're watching Ricky Tan gets a really good start here on the outside. Hooks it into second gear, loses just a little bit of space with the guy, but you can hear some cars on the left hand side here. Goes for a defensive move and inside, cuts the corner. Oh, he just tags the side of Spook and gets all sorts of turnaround, and that's it. And look at that, it's just a cascade effect behind him here. That is an issue. So Ricky Tan actually justifies with the skin of his teeth. Let's ride back on board with Ricky Tan here as he is catching on to Korski. So Ricky Tan has reeled in Korski and he's dropped Lynchy now. So Lynchy's just behind. Wow, okay, so that is Ricky Tan. Made a mistake into turn 1, gets into the side of Spook and gets himself turned around and causes this cascade effect just behind him. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So let's see. So we hear that Frozen Droid is actually closing the gap to Spook in front. So Frozen Droid is now 1.9 seconds behind P3. Let's see if that gap is closing, but we see Twinflow way out front now with a 2.7 seconds. We're actually going to just change... What are we going to change here? We're going to change gap connect. There we go. We'll have a look at the interval between the drivers, shall we? So we see Spook is just a couple of seconds ahead of Frozen Droid. He actually lost about a second in that last corner alone. So that fight has sort of fizzled out a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on that. But we see Korski and Ricky Tan now actually nose to tail heading into the first corner. Ricky Tan, look at this, Ricky Tan's got so much speed. He's got to go for the dive up the inside. He thinks about it. That was a very similar move to what he did into turn 1, lap 1. So that has cost him a little bit of time there. That was very, very brave here. Obviously, see Korski's just a little bit slow, but he's doing a fine job at keeping people away and being a rear guard towards Xanax. So where is... Oh, we see also Lynchy has lost the place to Jack. We missed that somewhere. So Lynchy now behind Jack as well. So Lynchy may have made a mistake because Jack was a little way behind. So Lynchy now down into P10. So let us continue looking on board the Ricky Tan and Korski fight here. Look at that. Look at that shot. The cars just look so good on this circuit. Yeah, Ricky Tan is on the gearbox of Korski again. It's only going to be a matter of time before this move gets done. I think we just heard someone locking up into the corner that they're going into now. 20 minutes remaining of the session. So the race has 20 minutes to go. As we've just seen now, Ricky Tan powering on down. Look, he's looking for the inside here. And he switches to the outside, does the double back, but doesn't get it done there. Because we see Korski just can carry some more speed through that corner. Ricky Tan just needs to be a little bit more patient, but he's hustling. He's absolutely hustling Korski along. He's within a half a second now. And we see Jack looming in the background. So Jack is wanting to get onto the back of this fight. But we see Jordan now in the pits as well. So Jordan is in the pits, I think. Possibly not, actually. That could be a... So he's on the way out of the pit station, so we've just got to refresh our overlays here. Make sure everything's good, but we're just going to continue looking at this fight between Korski and Ricky Tan, because they are also slowly gaining on his teammate in front, Xanax. So if Ricky Tan can get this move done, he's going to be in a very good position to chase down Xanax as well. As we see Ricky Tan looking to go around the outside of turn 1. That would have been something instead. Oh, but look at this, sets up the inside. Gets the inside line done, but Korski gets the outside, but we've got the inside for next. Yes, Ricky Tan gets the move done. Absolutely clinical there. He switched from outside to inside, knowing that the next corner he would have the inside line. Gets the move done. He's got to defend from Korski though into this hairpin. He needs to actually set up a defensive line because Korski's using the exit to his benefit. As we see Korski go for the dive bomb, he does. Korski dive bomb, and there's a little bit of collision. And we see Ricky Tan on the power hard. Ricky Tan gets the car spun round, and Jack now goes through, so Ricky Tan loses a position there. He should have gone defensive way earlier than what he did to stop that happening. We saw that attack happening from a long way back, but we also see Korski going really slow. So Korski's slowed down. I think Korski's allowing Ricky Tan back through because he feels bad. So Jack now up into P7. He gains 2 places because of that battle. So Jack is the main beneficiary here. Wow. Let's listen to this. Drive-by racing team, have they anything to say? No, they don't. Okay, what about the drum boys?
Don't let it get to you, just focus. You're good.
Yeah, so Ricky Tan may have had a little bit, maybe a little bit upset after that move from Korski, but it didn't look too bad, to be fair. It didn't look that bad. He just locked up on the brakes and yeah, they become together. But we see Ricky Tan now looking to square away on Jack. Look at this. Yeah, Ricky Tan is ahead of Jack as they head down the back straight here. Ricky Tan got a really good exit. He's in front of Jack as they sweep in. So Ricky Tan does make the move past. So Ricky Tan back up into P7 now. So he's now free and clear to chase down Xanax, who is 5 seconds ahead of him now. So we are seeing Ricky Tan now on his way. Ricky Tan doing a fine job. I think... Let's just have a look here. I'm hearing in my ear. Actually, yeah, look at this. P5 for Schmidt as it stands, who also done very little practice this week. But we see Schmidt into P5. What is he? He is 11 seconds of JR and 3 seconds ahead of Xanax and Holden. So Schmidt is doing a really good job. Actually, we see Ricky Tan and Jack close together again. Notice how so Ricky Tan needs to defend this inside line, and he does this time. Ricky Tan goes... What is he switched back to the racing line? So Jack could have switched back onto the inside there, but he chooses not to. So Ricky Tan maintains his position, but Jack isn't giving up that easily. We have a yellow flag in sector 3. That could have been Wild Boys and ASCII, I think it was. So ASCII up into P12 after his early pit stop. Probably or potentially hoping for a safety car, but it doesn't seem to be any sign of that as it stands. So ASCII is on his way. Let us go back to this battle of Ricky Tan and Jack, as we see Jack hot on the tail of Ricky Tan. Let us keep watching this develop as we see Ricky Tan actually just gapped now nearly a second in that sector alone. So Ricky Tan is getting the move on. So he's now 4 seconds behind Xanax. So they gained a second in this lap, even though they've been battling on Xanax. So Xanax isn't particularly fast as it stands. And as we see Korski running wide onto the back straight here, and his teammate Lynchy. So Lynchy actually needs to catch up with Korski. He's 4 seconds behind. So Lynchy just needs a big push now. But yeah, we see, look at this, Ricky Tan now gapped to 1.3 seconds into the final corner. So Ricky Tan is on his way. Let us ride on board with the guy he's chasing, who is Xanax. So let us look here. So Xanax is still only holding about 3 to 4 seconds behind Schmidt. So Schmidt is doing a really fine job here. A really good job. Let us run down our current positions, shall we? So we have Twin Flow in P1. Actually, let's ride on board with him while we do this. So we have Twin Flow in P1 doing a great job out in front. We have a Wild Boys penalty. A Wild Boys penalty for speeding in the pit lane, I would imagine, as we see him now exiting the pit lane. So we have a penalty for Wild Boys. He's going to have to serve that. So we will actually go back to Twin Flow. So we've got Twin Flow in P1 with Spook in P2. Frozen Joy P3. JR in 4th. Schmidt in 5th. Schmidt in 5th. Xanax in 6th. Ricky Tan in 7th. Jack 8th. Korski 9th. Lynchy 10th. Ollie 11th. ASCII in 12th. Wild Boys 13th. And Jordan in 14th place. Wow, I need to take a breather. We're about halfway, we're just over halfway into the race. The drivers are now settling into a nice rhythm. Ricky Tan is going to be pushing hard to try and get into this 5th, 6th, 7th battle. And Jack should hang on to his coattails and stay there, I think. Who else? Let's have a look on board with this gentleman here, Mr. JR. So he's got a gap of about 5 seconds in front of him, but a big gap, 14 seconds behind. So he's got no pressure behind. So he just needs to keep it clean and try and chase down Frozen Joy. But it seems like the front runners are all just gapping nicely together. So there seems to be no pressure there at the moment. Where are the big fights? So let's have a look at Jordan here. Jordan's currently a lap down after doing a couple of pit stops, I think. So yeah, we see him struggling. Where is ASCII? ASCII now is chasing down Farmer Joe Ollie, who is 48 seconds ahead. So ASCII might have gone a lap down at some point. So ASCII's doing good to fight back. What sort of lap time is he doing? 209 on his last, but he's better than 204. He's not doing too badly. The front runners are doing 205, 206, 207s. Ricky Tan on a 207, so yeah, Ricky Tan is definitely gaining on Xanax, I think. But Jack isn't leaving him alone. Jack is still there. Jack is within a second of him. So we see Ricky Tan now, the gap down to 2.4 seconds to Xanax, but only 9/10 of a second to Jack. So Jack is going to be racing hard. Ricky Tan might have a bit of a flat spot from his half spin with Korski. So that could be affecting his performance a little bit. But we do have a sort of four-way fight here between 7 and 10. Let's have a look here. So we actually, look at this, Liam and Korski and Lynchy here. So Lynchy is actually right on the back of Korski. Oh, we see a big lockup from Lynchy into the turn. That is going to hurt him. That was a huge lockup there. So he's going to have a massive flat spot now. His wheel's going to be rumbling like mad, but he's gaining on Korski. He can smell the fumes. But actually, Ricky Tan and Jack as well, nose to tail. So Jack, he just can't shake. Jack is just there the whole time. So Jack is gaining in confidence as he laps his circuit. He's putting very little track time. But look at this, Jack is right on the back. He's gaining. He's in the slipstream. We can see the timer, bro, 2/10. He is behind. He's pulled out of the slipstream a bit too early. He's not going to get the move done from there because Ricky Tan's going to throw the car in at full speed. Yeah, look at that. And he's just going to be able to continue through and push through. Look at that, though. What a fantastic race we're having here between these guys. But we see the gap to Xanax is still... Oh, it's actually dropped now to just under 2 seconds. So they are going to be closing in on Xanax very hard here. They are the Scuderia. Let's listen to them, shall we? See if Xanax and Korski are talking.
Fuck.
So Xanax has just made a little mistake, I think. He has indeed. So that is now allowed Ricky Tan to close up. We have 10 minutes remaining of the race. And we are hearing Xanax swearing down his microphone. He is racing hard. But look at this. Jack is just not leaving Ricky Tan alone. He just doesn't want to give up the place. This is fantastic from him. But Ricky Tan is currently not defending from him. Parabyte says, come on, Jack. Absolutely, come on, Jack. He's doing a great job. He's just growing in confidence. Like I said, lap after lap. He's got 10 minutes now to get the move done. As you see Ricky Tan into the turn. They've got a gap now. So the gap between these is falling. Let's look at our extended battle between these guys. So battle for 6, we've got Xanax, Ricky Tan and Jack. Look at this. They have all closed right up together. This is going to be a three-way fight now for P6, I think. I think Schmidt has done enough to continue on his way. As long as he keeps it clean here, I think Schmidt has done enough to continue and hold his 5th place. So we're going to be watching this three-way fight between Xanax, Ricky Tan and Jack. As they head down the back straight, they are slightly catching on Schmidt though. But what? Let's have a look. So we see actually Lynchy as well, right up behind Korski again. Oh, he runs a little bit wide, so he just drops a little bit of time down the straight. So he's gonna fall way back there. So we'll continue on to this fight here between Jack, Ricky Tan, and Xanax. But actually, Ricky Tan has dropped Jack a little bit in that last sector, and he's now hot on the back of Xanax here. So Ricky Tan now into the slipstream of Xanax. This is going to be interesting. We do have a yellow flag somewhere in Sector 2, but that is cleared, I think. I'm not sure who that might be. But look at this, Ricky Tan looking for the move up the inside of Xanax into this tight, twisty section. But Xanax keeps the speed up here. But this is going to slow them down. This is going to allow Jack onto the back. Look at this, Jack now right onto the back of Ricky Tan. And we have a retirement from Wild Boys. Wild Boys has now DNF'd. Wild Boys is back into the pit lanes. He is DNF, so he is no trouble, unfortunately. So we have lost Wild Boys as we see Ricky Tan defending from Jack into the tight right-hand hairpin. But look at this, the battle for 6 rages on. The battle for 6 is continuous, so it is tight between these guys. 6, 7, 8, Xanax, Ricky Tan, Jack. As we see Jack looking up the inside of Ricky Tan, still defending here. As they are apparent, we have 7 minutes remaining. Boost, I had enough. Wild Boys, I understand, my friend. But this is your track, dude. You should have been good here. You was in 13th. You're still in 13th, technically. But unlucky, buddy. But the battle for 6 rages on. And we also do have a very close fight between Lynchy and Korski here. Lynchy's now 6/10 off, but look at this battle here. Ricky Tan carry the speed down. So Ricky Tan is going to be in the slipstream, but Jack is going to get a double slipstream here. We are watching the intervals, but the intervals aren't falling. Ricky Tan is only just started to gain now. Is he going to look at the inside? This is a madman move. Ricky Tan with the madman move on the inside of Xanax into the last turn. He was 2/10 back and he just absolutely sent it up the inside. One absolute madman. But now Ricky Tan up into 6th. But we're looking at Jack now, looking to square away Xanax. Jack now onto the back of Xanax. Jack looking to follow Ricky Tan through. Doesn't get it through into turn 1. Wow, what an incredible move there from Ricky Tan. What incredible move from Ricky Tan. As we are watching now Jack trying to get past Xanax. Xanax seems to have been slowed a little bit. Xanax runs a little bit wide, so now Jack can hold, but Jack gets on the power a little bit too early, and Jack now is going to lose time down the straight to Xanax. It's going to give Xanax a little bit of breathing room, but we see Ricky Tan now escaping up into P6 and to try and chase down Schmidt. He's got 2 seconds to gain on Schmidt, And he's actually doing it fast. So Ricky Tan now 2 seconds behind Schmidt and gaining. Let us collapse that back down to this. As we see Jack now needs to get the move done on Xanax, but Xanax is holding firm. Actually, Xanax is chasing back to Ricky Tan. Ricky Tan's probably hurt his tyres in the pursuit of all this, and he's half spins, so he's going to be struggling, I think, with some of these tighter turns. But let us ride Swingman with Ricky Tan. Oh, actually, we just see Jack going around the outside of Xanax. Xanax made a small mistake there. And Jack now through on Xanax. So Xanax now down, lost 2 places in the space of a lap. Xanax down into 8th place. That is unlucky. So we see Ricky Tan hard on the heels of Schmidt already. But let's look at Ricky Tan on Xanax. We are watching the Swingman camera here. So we see Ricky Tan. Xanax thinking about it, but look at this. Look how far back Ricky Tan is. He just absolutely sent it up the inside. What an incredible move from Ricky Tan. Wow, wow, wow. What a fantastic move from him. So we are now back on board with Schmidt in 5th and Ricky Tan in 6th place. So we see the gap now to under a second. He had 2 seconds at the start of the lap. And we see Ricky Tan now closing in. Closing in on Schmidt. Let's see if we can listen to the Top Goon Racing team.
Oh, Rich is sneaking up on me. Go away, man. Get out of here. Don't do this to me. Don't you put this evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, Schmidt is a funny guy, but yeah, Schmidt gets a little bit out of shape on the exit to the long curve, and Ricky Tan now is closed right up behind him. Look at this, Ricky Tan on the power. Ricky is side by side. Ricky Tan gets ahead of Schmidt as they go through the chicane. Ricky Tan just gets the power down, and Ricky Tan gets the move done. What a nice move again from Ricky Tan. So Ricky Tan now powers on up into 5th place here. He's not going to do any better than that, but wow, what a move from Ricky Tan. He just gets up slightly alongside Schmidt and just gets the power down in the traction zone and gets the move done before the end of the chicane. So now, can Jack follow him through?
I can't catch him.
Schmidt, we feel the pain in Schmidt's voice, but actually let's listen to the Drive-By Racing team. Are they not talking to us? Drive-By Racing just refusing to talk to us. We had them singing at the last one. Not anymore. No singing from these boys. Okay, so Jack is definitely concentrating. So, we are 2 minutes left of the race. Jack chasing down Schmidt. He is within 8/10. Schmidt, I said, probably solidified his 5th place, but he just wasn't quick enough to keep these guys behind. Once these guys have sorted out their squabbles, they managed to catch up and get the move done. But Ricky Tan now is pulled away by 1.3 seconds over the course of the last lap. So Ricky Tan's doing a fine job at gapping here. So yeah, Schmidt and Jack here into turn 1. Jack right on the heels of Schmitty here. Can Schmidt hold him back? Can he hold him back, Jack? Can Schmidt do this? Can Schmidt finish P6 ahead of Jack in P7? We see Korski-Lynchy battle actually going on here. As we see Lynchy going down the inside of Korski into turn 1. Korski's going to try and hang around the outside, but Lynchy's going to hold him off. Come on, Lynchy, do it. Lynchy down. What a fine, fantastic move there from Lynchy. Lynchy gets the move done inside turn 1. That is a rapidly fast corner on used tyres. Lynchy up into P9. What a fantastic move. But Korski is not giving up. He needs to defend now, Lynchy. This corner, you need to defend, because this is going to be a repeat of what happened to Ricky Tan if you do not defend here. He is going to try and send it down the inside. You need to stay to the right. He's looking for the defensive line. Yes, look at that. Lynchy defends now, but he runs wide. Oh no, Lynchy runs wide, gets on the gravel and half spins, and it's allowed Korski back through. But now we see Schmidt and Jack together. We're going back to this battle, Schmidt and Jack. Unfortunately for Lynchy, he just loses the place there. Can Jack get the move done on Schmidt? We have 20 seconds remaining. Is Twin Flow got across it? So there is 1 lap remaining here. As we see Jack powering on through. Can he get the move done? So now we see Jack into the toe. Going down the back straight. He's actually losing time to Schmidt. So Schmidt got a better exit and has gapped him a little bit into the final corner here. As we see Jack going around the outside. Does Jack get the outside done? Jack hits into the wall. Into the wall. Jack gets into the wall. So Jack doesn't get the outside move done. That hurts him badly into the wall. We've seen a checker flag being waved. I think that might be the end of the race for these guys. Is that the end? I'm not sure. I think these guys need to continue racing. That isn't the end for them. They just need to push on. But we see Twin Flow now. Where is Twin Flow here? He's in the mid-section. So we see Korsky and Lynchy actually back together here. Look at this. Oh, is that Lynchy spun? Oh, Lynchy with a half spin. Oh, no. But Lynchy and Korsky back together tight again. So Korsky's really suffering with his tyres. Lynchy hot on him here. As they cross the start-finish line to start their final lap. I don't want to miss this gentleman here, Mr. Twinflow, who's raced from start to end. He's not quite near the end of the lap. I'm going to let my race director let me know when he is at the end of the lap. But we also see Schmidt and Jack close together as well. I want to watch Lynchy. No, Lynchy's holding position, so let's watch this. So Jack is do or die time now for Jack here. This is his last chance to get through on Schmitty. Where is Twin Flow on the track? He's into the last corner, so we're going to just watch and ride on board with Twin Flow as he crosses the last line to congratulate him on winning. So here we have Twin Flow now crossing the start-finish line, flashing the lights. What an amazing finish from Twin Flow. Congratulations to him as he crosses the line. But let's ride back on board with Schmidt and Jack. Oh, Lynchy though. Lynchy's through on Korsky. Lynchy up into P9 on the final lap. But Korsky's looking to get back, but Lynchy goes defensive here on the inside. Does he hold? No, Lynchy goes deep. Lynchy went deep into the corner. He's lost it to Korsky on the final lap, but that is going to boil him well. But now we're watching Jack on Schmidt. Jack on Schmidt. So Jack is in the toe now. Is Jack going to go for the inside line? Schmidt needs to defend here. Schmidt, please defend. Please pull to the right a little bit. Make him go the hard way. But as he goes into the final turn, Schmidt goes long. Oh, Schmidt's got the speed, but Schmidt runs wide. Schmidt runs wide. That allows Jack up on the inside. So Jack just jumps Schmidt at the end into P6. Jack comes home into P6 on the line, and Schmidt is down in 7th place here. Wow, what an end to that. We see Zanax home in P8. Korsky is going to finish in P9 here, with Lynchy just behind him in P10. What a great showing for Lynchy as well, though. Lynchy did a fantastic job into this race. So we're going to watch our friend Korsky here come across the line in P9. Terabyte says, great racing and great commentary boost. See you at the next race. Terabyte, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. I also want to thank my race director. We didn't have a safety car this lap, but we didn't need one. What a fantastic race here. Wow, wow, we were. What a race, as we see Korsky now finishing across the line and Lynchy into 10th place. Let us watch Ollie in the Farmer Joe racing team. He may not finish the race here. Coming down the back of the grid. So this is Ollie in P11, just outside the points. And ASCII. Oh, look at this, yeah. So ASCII is still on track, I think, all the way down in P12 as well. So he didn't manage to convert his track time into a race. And we see Ollie now taking the checker flag, locks up his brakes across the line. He wants to get out of that car, and he does. Ollie didn't want to continue, as we're just watching now. Wino ASCII here, trying to finish his race, I think. This quite possibly could be for the end of the race, but he is actually a lap on the slow down. So I think that is the end of our race. Let's look at our session results, shall we? So we have Twin Flow, P1. It's showing Wino ASCII in P2? Why is that done that for? That is not correct. Oh, that could be the current session results. That's practice, isn't it? We won't race, thank you so much. There we go. So Twin Flow in 1, Spook 2, Frozen Droid in 3, JR 4th, Ricky Tam 5th, Jack 6th, Schmidt 7th, Zanak 8th, Korsky 9th, Lynchy in 10th place, Ollie 11th, Askew 12th, 13th is Farmer Joe, and DNF for Wild Boys. Actually, we've had 2 DNFs, Jordan and Wild Boys. So that is it. That is the end of the session. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate every one of you for showing up to watch the race. We will be back next week at Laguna. We will see you then. Goodbye.
You know, want to see me shine.